Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Sarita. I know it's been a long time. I'm definitely on the struggle bus when it comes to candles and mainly just recording videos right now. Since I have about 11 candles off screen here that I have absolutely burned all the way down and need reviews, and I just can't somehow find the time to do so. So I am burning admittedly at a slower rate than I used to because my job is just not allowing me to right now. But I'm also just not reviewing, so I apologize for that. I think that what we'll probably do here is a huge empties, like in the next week or two. And it'll be like empties from about 3 or 4 months. So we'll do that. I did go to Bath and Body Works for Candle Day. And shout out to Kent from Candle Channel because he texted me on whatever day it was. Friday? Saturday? No. Yeah, I think it was a Friday maybe. A Friday? When the first day of Candle Day was. Because honestly, if he hadn't texted me and been like, hey, happy Candle Day, what did you get? I don't even know if I would have remembered or whatever else. As it turns out, I was in Columbus, Ohio at the time I was visiting my beautiful sisters, staying with my baby sister. And so I was in the mecca of Bath and Body Works at that time. So very easy. And I told Kat, I'm like, I will try to get out this afternoon. And indeed I did. As it turns out, my little sister lives in New Albany, which is in fact the home of Bath and Body Works. As it turns out, the only Bath and Body Works in New Albany is just kind of a strip mall store, no fanfare, but it was about 3 minutes from my sister's house. And that's the one I hit. And in my experience, that strip mall store has just about everything that you would want. So I did not proceed to Easton, which is the next closest complex, where they have not one, not two, they have 3 Bath and Body Works at the Easton complex, including their flagship Easton store. And then of course they have another flagship at Polaris Mall, which has now become the test store location as well. So I did not even go to those because I was happy with what I got at the little New Albany strip mall. So I got 12 candles, if you can believe it. And many of them, caveats here, many of them I just bought to return, and I haven't returned them yet. I bought them because my little sister and I were just like crazy busy with all kinds of different things, and I knew that she otherwise would have wanted to go to the store, but she was just too busy for it. So I ended up buying a lot of candles that I thought that she would like or would at least be interested in smelling, that are not interesting for me, because she's a very gourmandy kind of girl. And so I did buy a lot of gourmand candles that I otherwise would not have. And like I said, I will be returning them. But that makes this video kind of fun for you guys because I usually don't haul gourmands. I just kind of talk about them if I need to, being not a gourmand person. But I actually have some here to be able to lift the lid and, you know, show you guys my facial expression, etc. And I hadn't been in a Bath and Body Works store for a bit, I'm not gonna lie to you. And so it was kind of nice to go around and smell everything. I don't even know if I had completely smelled the Milk Bar candles, which again are not up my alley, but usually, I mean, any year where Bath and Body Works is actually interesting and is actually doing things. I mean, I have a local Bath and Body Works here in Virginia, and I think I'm there almost every week or so, every 2 weeks. In fact, I went in yesterday for the annual body care day or whatever, and like the manager there, who knows me really well, was like, long time no see. And it is totally correct, because you know, if you've been buying Bath and Body Works for years, like, you know how grim it has become at Bath and Body Works and other places. Let's not just dump on Bath and Body Works. I mean, there are very few candle companies that are actually doing interesting things right now. And of course we can blame the financial like climate, environment, and milieu for, I'm sure, the choices that are being made at these respective candle companies, but it is a no for me. It is a hard no. And I think that that is part of the reason, at least, that this channel has not been thriving. And I've not felt so bad about like not offering a whole lot of things, because frankly, there's not a whole lot to be excited about. Thank God many of us have backstocks of probably more candles than we will be able to burn in a lifetime, because when there are these kinds of cycles where there just isn't a whole lot going on, at least we can dip into our collections and be like, well, you know, remember this year? Remember when, you know, the candle companies were putting out interesting candles? You know, it's kind of nice. This video is brought to you by the letter B, which stands for Bailey's. Folks, we're just going classic this morning. We really are, because it's Christmas time. And I have a fantastic Bailey's chocolate chip recipe, you know, cookie recipe. And I told my colleagues that I might make it, but they were interested in other kinds of candles. Cookies. So I don't know if I'm gonna be making my Bailey's chocolate chip recipe this month, which means that Bailey's has been on my mind. And I actually only have about a fourth a cup left in here, which I was reserving for my cookies, but now that I'm not going to make it, like I might as well just drink that up. You know what I mean? Oh, thank God. Oh, that's perfect. All right. So I've got my Bailey's. I've got a beautiful new kimono from Victoria's Secret. Thanks for noticing. I have 11 candles because my little sister did appropriate one of them and say, I love this. Please let me buy it from you. And I said, no, just keep it. So I don't have my 12th candle here. We'll get to that. And I do have some thoughts on what I saw in the Bath & Body Works store, you know, etc. These candles have not been put in these crates in any particular order. I have this off screen here, you know, this bag here. So I'm just gonna go through them. Unfortunately, well, here, I suppose I should lift this crate up and try to keep some of these candles together if they were part of a collection, etc. General thoughts, I think it was a fairly strong candle day for Bath & Body Works. It's definitely, it was stronger than some of their more recent ones have been. Perhaps marginally, but we'll take it. And admittedly, the bar is low. Candle Day has not been fantastic for several years, which is kind of par for the course in this new brave candle era. But I did think that this was a fairly strong candle day for them. The store was very busy when I went in, and many of the candles were like frozen, absolutely frozen. Like some of the customers next to me, they were like, I can hardly smell this, it's so cold. So they very obviously had just been pulled off the truck, which means that there was fairly good turnover, you know, of these candles. Some surprise collections that actually landed a little bit better than I think any of us expected them to. And some great vault candles came back. So there was that as well. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the day was ruined, almost entirely ruined by several extraordinarily terrible blend candles. You know what they are at this point, you know. I'm looking at you, chips and salsa and ranch and pizza. Like those candles were so atrocious, frankly, that it almost killed the day, okay? And I know that that sounds wild to claim that, but the thing about it is they were so bad that I think many of us, and I'm not just speaking for myself, and I'm not speaking for other candle reviewers, I'm speaking for the consumers in the store that I was shopping with, okay? I can tell you the reactions, and they were not good. And it made us question the company. And I think that's what killed the energy, frankly, in the store. It really did. Because it's one thing to have a bad candle, it happens every now and then. They were so bad, and the concept was bad, and the timing was bad, and the seasonality was bad, and the graphics on the jar were bad. I mean, it was just swimming in a sea of so terrible that made us all question Bath and Body Works' grip on reality, okay? That's not the kind of vibe that Bath and Body Works wants us to be taken away from that day, which is a trumpets and fanfare kind of day. It's a marquee day, just like their semi-annual sale is, but Candle Day, right before Christmas. Like, you do not want any discordant notes in that fanfare, if you know what I mean. And man, those blend candles were something else. They really were. When they were originally, and the thing about it wasn't even that they like just threw them on the floor quietly and allowed us to discover them, like they did many of the other, frankly, collections. They hyped those candles. Again, the questioning of these decisions from this company. I was watching Bren. She was hilarious. And I was relieved when I watched her and she thought they were terrible, because Bren has a pretty good threshold for those kinds of candles. She does all of the gourmands. She does all of the food candles. She really loves like the really out of the box, crazy novelty stuff. And she said so in that video, and yes. And for her to say this was beyond the pale, folks, there's nothing more to be said. She even said at a certain point, she's like, my dog once like ate his own poop and then vomited it up on my bed. And I would rather smell that than this candle. It's like, that might be a bit of hyperbole from Bryn, but like, yeah, that Pizza Ranch candle was unacceptable. And she said, here's the thing. She's like, I just want to know, and I think we all want to know, what was the corporate office thinking? Who okayed this candle? Who thought that this was fine to put on a shelf? Like, she said, they have to know that it's bad, that it's terrible. Like, is it a joke? Or like, is this not, I mean, to some extent, like the entire concept is a joke. We get that. It's a novelty candle. But beyond that, it's not even a good novelty candle. Like, it doesn't, if we all smelled this candle cold, would we even know that it was pizza and ranch? Would we smell it long enough to be able to investigate that? Would we even be smelling for notes? Like, it was that bad. Truly horrendous. And let's be clear, pizza and ranch are delicious, okay? There should have been some aspect of this candle that was delicious. Yes, it's weird to be smelling it in a wax medium. I mean, there's just no question. That's gonna be off-putting. You're not gonna get that many people who are gonna burn a candle like that if they don't necessarily want their house smelling like chips and salsa, like artificially, okay? Fine. But it should smell like chips and salsa. It should smell like pizza and ranch, and there should be something somewhat delicious about that, okay? Okay. The chips and salsa one did smell a bit more authentic than the pizza and ranch one did. That one did smell a bit more like chips and salsa than the other one smelled like pizza and ranch. Chips and salsa one still, something was off. It just was not as delicious as you would think a candle like that would be. Simple as that. I don't really know what else to say. And they were definitely not even pretending to be elevated versions. Just not even pretending. Something was very wrong in that pizza and ranch candle. Very wrong. Consumers were literally passing the candle around. And, you know, when they passed it to me, I automatically, the words were coming out of my mouth, I know, it's gross. And then I lifted the lid and it was a whole nother level of disgusting. Whole nother level, okay? This is not the average pizza and ranch in a candle kind of disgusting, okay? And that's what makes us question the company. Other things that make us question the company, like why are they releasing a chips and salsa and a pizza and ranch candle at Christmas time for Candle Day? These are the kinds of mashups that if you're gonna release them at all, you wanna see in the summer season. In the summer season, you can get away with a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Like, all right, backyard barbecues, etc., etc. Like, you know, you could see putting out some of these like weird ass candles in a semi-annual sale like situation. And how bad the graphics and the label looked. I mean, just very half-assed, very, very cheap looking. That is very much like a semi-annual sale kind of mashup look. This was, again, not elevated in terms of marketing or appeal or anything like that. Why would we see this 3 weeks before Christmas? No one's gonna be burning these candles. The only thing that I can think, and this is the only defense that I can give, is that because they are novelty candles like that, maybe Bath & Body Works was thinking, oh, people want to give these to other people as a joke at Christmas time. Or like one of those like, just like kind of trash, you know, gifts that you give as a gag at like one of these like white elephant parties or something like that. There aren't enough people who fit into this category for that to be an offering on Candle Day. It's just not, even if they're executed correctly, and they weren't even executed correctly, right? It's just, that's what I'm saying though about this killing the vibe on Candle Day, killing it. The one novelty candle that actually landed, by the way, by the time I was in the store, all that were left were the two bad ones, the chips and salsa and the pizza and ranch. So I did not smell the coffee and donuts one, which was just underwhelming. It wasn't unique or interesting because it smelled like a million other apparently coffee candles from Bath & Body Works. So that's a mess. There was one about popcorn and slushies, I think, which was also weird, but you know, God bless. Seems to have been more palatable than those other two. That one was not in the store, so I did not smell it. I can't speak to it. And I've completely lost my train of thought. What was I about to say? Oh, the one novelty candle that did land was the dill pickle candle. And I know that got a lot of flack. Actually, I think I have it. Where is the dill pickle one? I bought it because I have a little nephew in my little sister's house who is obsessed with dill pickles. And so I was 1000% bringing it home for him to smell, if nothing else. He tried to carry it up to his room. He loved it so much, obviously. And his mother said that he couldn't have it. So I thought about maybe giving it to him for Christmas, but at the same time, she's not gonna let him burn it, you know? And I guess he can just have it in his room, but you know what? Maybe I'll just buy him a jar of pickles or the pickle salt or something like that that he'll like better. So here's the dill pickle candle. I mean, the graphics were fine given that it was a dill pickle candle. I didn't see the pink one. The pink one is apparently a more rare version of this pickle candle. The blurb says, you found the hidden pickle, delicious blend of pickle juice, fresh dill, flaky sea salt. And folks, this is a very good novelty candle in that it 1001% smells like a jar of dill pickles. Again, no elevation here. If you know, or if you remember, for those of you who shop, Aldi actually came out with a dill pickle candle in the summer. And I bought that one for my nephew too. That dill pickle from Aldi actually was a bit elevated, and it was kind of half novelty. Again, they brought it out at the right time. They brought it out in the summer. And I think they even had a chips and salsa one in that same collection, if I recall. And I don't remember what it smelled like. But the dill pickle one was actually more elevated than you would think. Yes, it had some dill notes in it. Yes, it was a bit more savory than you would expect or want from a candle. So in that sense, it was novelty, but it also had really heavily leaned into the crisp cucumber aspect of it. It may have even had a little bit of an aloe overtone to it. So it was kind of a half reputable candle at the same time. There were pleasant and palatable aspects to it. It wasn't just a pure dill pickle experience. Folks, this is a pure dill pickle experience. I mean, wow. Wow. I mean, the vinegar that comes off of it, but it's legit. I mean, it's legit dill pickle, you know? This is just a really good example of a great novelty candle. This is the kind that you give to somebody as a gag gift, you know, and or burn as a joke for July 4th or something like that. You're definitely not gonna want your house to smell like this at any time during the season, but you know, a backyard barbecue or something like that, you know, and as a gag gift to someone, it is just a really, really good novelty candle. Simple as that. Those other two were not. They were not, because they were so disgusting and really didn't bear enough resemblance to the thing that they were trying to describe. You know what I mean? So I know I'm belaboring this point, but unfortunately for me, and I know for other people, it kind of really sunk the Candle Day experience. And I don't know what Bath & Body Works was thinking. Without those mashups, I would have given them at least a B+. Bryn gave them a B or a B-. Without the blend candles, I would give them at least a B+, if not an A- on Candle Day. From what I saw, the variety of candles that they had, etc., I would give them at least a B+ or an A-. But the strength and the atrociousness, the heinousness of those blend candles really does kill the score. I mean, really does drop it to a B-. I agree with Bryn on this. I really do. So huge mistake, and I hope that they're learning from it. That's all I can say from that. The only person that I've seen that likes that Pizza Ranch candle is Sean from Hearthside, but I don't believe him. I think he very obviously watched Bonnie and Bryn say that it was terrible, and I don't think he can bring himself to agree with Bryn or Bonnie about anything. I think he's just trying to stick it to them, and he does not want to be in their company, in my opinion. And he gets emotional like that. So I don't believe him that he likes it. I don't think it's likable. I don't think it's likable. And if you're one of those people that did not smell it, God bless. Like, lucky you. That is not something you need to smell in your lifetime. Okay. Negativity over. Let's talk about some of the things that actually went down really well. And I am going to start with the surprise collection that I think was not hyped at all. And like, I didn't even hear about it. It was stuck in the back of the store. And folks, this ice cream sundae collection was A+. It was really A+. Did every candle in the collection land? No. There were a couple that were kind of like, no. It's a no. Many of the customers around me thought that waffle cone one was gross. They just thought it was straight up gross. I didn't think it was good either. I'm not the target audience for that. I feel like I've smelled better waffle cones from Bath & Body Works. And on top of it, it was weak. It was weak AF. So that was a throwaway for sure. And my store did not have the better butterscotch one. So I can't speak to the butterscotch one either. But the other three ones I thought were quite good, which was Neapolitan and hot fudge drizzle, and the glazed cherry one, which is the one that my little sister appropriated. She loved that candle so much that I just left it with her. And I do think the cherry one was the gem of the collection. I know all the reviewers seem to really like this one, and I think there's things to like about it, but for me personally, the glazed cherry one took the cake. Was the cherry on the cake. It really was, literally and figuratively. That cherry candle is just a very strong maraschino cherry. It did lean very heavily almond extract, which is kind of like an adjacent smell for maraschino cherries. So it was kind of an almond extracty maraschino, but it was a true blue chip maraschino, and that was it. It was bold, it was loud, it was strong, it was delicious. If you don't like maraschino cherries, I could see why you wouldn't like that candle, but for everyone else, that was fantastic. Leans almost a bit novelty again, but just on this side of gourmand and delicious and fantastic. Bryn was saying, you know, I feel like they've put out a candle like this or something very similar even over the last year. And what she might have been thinking about is that they have had, because cherry has been so trending for them, they have had several cherry candles, new cherry candles, even over this last year. The Pretty in Pink one was a very strong, again, almond extract cherry kind of note. And then there was one before it that was some sort of cherry, lost cherry-ish kind of fragrance, and I can't remember what exactly it was called, but again, very much in that genre. The difference is that those two had some body care elements to them. They were a little bit more perfumey, whereas this glazed cherry one didn't have any body care notes at all. I mean, it was just a true gourmand maraschino cherry, and it was just so bright, so joyful, so unembarrassed. I loved that candle, and it was the cherry on the cake. It really was. I loved it. It's not a candle, frankly, that I think I personally would burn, but I'm not a candy or gourmand person. I do love maraschino cherries, though. Oh my gosh, I love it. And if you are an Italian American, you know full well that Spumoni ice cream has that amazing maraschino cherry element to it, along with the pistachio, along with the chocolate. And while I love the Neapolitan, and I do think that Neapolitan is a bit more mainline for most people, given the way that pistachio is trending right now, I actually think that Bath & Body Works could have very nicely done a Spumoni ice cream here instead of a Neapolitan and given us like a cherry with a pistachio with a chocolate. I think, and actually Spumoni is considered somewhat seasonal, at least in certain markets. It's been a pretty, it's been several years since I've been in any market, frankly, where I've seen a good Spumoni ice cream in the store, unless you are blessed to be in a true, like, Little Italy kind of situation. There used to be good Spumoni ice creams in most grocery stores. Like, I think Edie's even had a Spumoni ice cream that would especially come out during the holiday season. In Ohio, Velvet ice cream makes a fantastic Spumoni ice cream, but even in Ohio, I have not been seeing that, in the freezers here for the holiday season. So I don't know, Italians out there, are you still eating Spumoni? Spumoni is so fantastic. And like I said, with the way pistachio is trending right now, not just in home fragrance, but obviously with the Dubai chocolate trend, etc. Like, I'm kind of surprised that we're not seeing Spumoni more this season. Let's rectify that for next holiday season. For those of you who are Italian and who are craving Spumoni ice cream, all I can say is that you can do a DIY Spumoni by finding a very good pistachio ice cream, which admittedly is hard to come by. Jenny's ice cream used to have a fantastic pistachio ice cream called Pistachio and Honey. It was back in the old Jenny days and has been discontinued since their like Listeria days, which is unfortunate because that was one of their OG flavors. Really fantastic. However, for this year, Jenny's came out with a pistachio macaron ice cream. I have one in my freezer right now, and I saw it. It was at Whole Foods in Virginia, so I know that one's pretty easy to find. Pistachio macaron, it is seasonal. I even saw it at Kroger. I saw one at Harris Teeter, and I saw one at Whole Foods. So relatively speaking, that pistachio macaron is easy to get a hold of. It's a great pistachio. It does have some almond overtones, but that's fine too. Again, adjacent. Get that pistachio ice cream or your own pistachio ice cream in your own neck of the woods. And then I really can't recommend strongly enough Grater's ice cream, which is another Ohio ice cream. What can I say? I'm an Ohio girl. We take our ice cream seriously. Grater's ice cream has a cherry chocolate chip ice cream, which is one of my favorite ice creams, full stop, across the board. It's an amazing maraschino cherry ice cream with chocolate chunks, not just chocolate chips, chunks. If you're familiar with Grater's, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes these chocolate chunks will be larger than your mouth. huge chocolate chunks in it. So if you get that maraschino chocolate, that maraschino ice cream with the chocolate chunks along with the pistachio, you've got a nice DIY spumoni. The only thing you don't have in it is any kind of liqueur or rum note, but that's okay. Most of the spumoni ice creams that have been hitting the shelves over the last decade, 2 decades, have not had a rum note in it either. So there you go. That's what you could do if you enjoy some spumoni ice cream. For those of you who are not familiar with Graeter's or with that particular cherry ice cream, in my opinion, and please don't clap back at me, in my opinion, it is a much better version of Cherry Garcia from Ben & Jerry's. But if you can't find Graeter's, that Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia will do just fine. Combine it with your pistachio, and there you've got a spumoni. On Christmas Day, I will be having that ice cream in the afternoon or evening. I highly recommend it to you. Even if you're not Italian, what can I say, right? All right, close parentheses. Sorry for that. Can we talk about these lids? I'm loving these lids. First of all, the color is great. Absolutely great. Just very photogenic. And they made that label with that nice green pop in the middle. And I just think it's fantastic. Yes, because as you can see, there's like this cone, this waffle cone-like texture here, which is fantastic and obviously appropriate. Yeah, they could have made it more literal by making it orange or yellow or something like that. But I actually kind of like the light green like this. I think it's great. It's absolutely great. And it's, as you well know, it's silicone, and it's got this nice gasket, so it just kind of sits right on top of it. It's just really thoughtful. And I know Kent said this, for it to be like a throwaway, Candle Day collection that we didn't even know about, to have this kind of innovation here on the lid when they could have just, and probably should have, just slapped some, tin lid on the top of it, it's really fantastic. It makes me think that this collection may have been planned for some other time during the year and then was pulled, maybe because they didn't want it to compete with Milk Bar or something like that. I mean, this is a collection that they obviously put some amount of thought into, like maybe they were gonna release it in the summertime or something, and then Milk Bar, came through, and they just didn't want to compete. They didn't want to compete with it or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the situation was, but in my opinion, this collection should have been front and center in the Candle Day stores, number one. And number two, really does kind of hit higher and better than we would expect from a collection that dropped on Candle Day. Really fantastic. I like the way that this hot fudge drizzle smells. And it's not getting as much love as I kind of expect it to. My sister didn't like it because she doesn't like chocolate syrup or chocolate candles. I don't like chocolate candles either. But just objectively, again, like a good novelty candle, this one straight up smells like chocolate syrup. I mean, it doesn't even smell like hot cocoa or, something chocolate adjacent. They have nailed, again, the authenticity in this collection. They have really nailed that like chocolate syrup smell, that Hershey syrup that you have in your refrigerator, It's not a chocolate bar, it's not a chocolate hot cocoa, it's a true hot chocolate syrup. And high marks. Everybody that's quote unquote not liked it has not liked it because there's other chocolate candles that they like better at Bath & Body Works, or they don't like smelling hot like chocolate syrup, or don't like chocolate syrup. And all of those reasons are legitimate enough, but on another level, not legitimate. I mean, again, let's give a novelty candle its due. You may not like the entity in real life, but let's not pretend that this isn't 100% authentic to it. You know what I mean? High marks on this candle, really high. And me and my little nephews loved it for obvious reasons. So yes, it's going back. No, I'm not burning it. I'm not even a gourmand person, but come on, objectively, this is a really good showing. I thought Neapolitan was a great showing as well. This smells like strawberry ice cream. Yeah, it does have a little bit of a back note of chocolate. Apparently it's strawberry sauce vanilla buttercream and milk chocolate. I think it just smells mostly strawberry-ish, but it does have this back note of, if not waffle cone, there is this very distinct ice cream parlor kind of note, you know? And it seems to have that. It just seems to have that. It smells like a strawberry ice cream, you know? Not just a strawberry candle or, you know, strawberry syrup or any, it really does smell like a strawberry ice cream. So in that sense, really, really nice. I don't know that it represents enough of the vanilla or chocolate for it to be a good Neapolitan candle. And for me, it smells a bit weak. It smells a bit weak in the jar, whereas like cherry is not weak at all. And I don't think that the hot fudge drizzle is weak either. This one smells weak, i.e., I'm worried a little bit about strength and throw. And spoiler alert, now that we've started to get some reviews from people who have burned it, it is in fact quite weak. So that's a detraction from Neapolitan. I'll just reiterate what I said at the beginning. In my opinion, that cherry candle is the best of the bunch, but I have to give really high marks to the collection in general, even though it's not my particular wheelhouse or favorite. A great collection for any time in the season. Very mainline, super fun and playful, and just really great. I love the lids, and I hope that that's a look and a innovation that they kind of continue with. I love seeing that. I really do. Like these tin lids are fine, but like it really just goes the extra mile in terms of presentation when they do something special like that. So really, really great. And they kept the price point at $27.95, which is really nice. Unlike some of our collabs this year where they slapped a metal like lid on it and would upcharge $3. This is the kind of lid where in any other company you would expect a value added price point difference. And so I'm just really impressed with Bath & Body Works being able to offer this to us at the same price point as if they had slapped a metal lid on it. They're obviously eating some amount of costs there, but I think, again, credit where credit is due there, really. Those kinds of gestures is what makes us think well of the company as opposed to badly. Okay. So let's move on then in no particular order. Let's talk about the vault candles. Let me pull these out because I did buy many of the vault candles. I was very excited, as everybody was, to experience Snow Day, because I don't know that I remember Snow Day, and I was certainly not a Bath & Body Works shopper, you know, past a certain point. I was a snobby Yankee Candle girl, and, you know, so I don't know quite as much as, you know, Kent and various others who have been buying these for over a decade. So I was really, really excited about Brown Sugar and Figs, Snow Day, Smoked Vanilla, Vanilla Snowflake, and it was so fantastic for them all to have come out at the same time. The only vault candle, or the two vault candles that I did not purchase, were the peppermint marshmallow one that was just kind of for me like, okay, fine, you know? I mean, it's good, but I do feel like peppermint marshmallow or peppermint white chocolate or peppermint vanilla are just such standard and classic fragrance notes for any company during this time. There's a dime a dozen of them. Did that candle really do something entirely out of the box from that genre? Not really. Also, I thought it kind of smelled weak, so I just didn't need that one. And then I also did not get blueberry sugar. I love a blueberry candle, but for me, that candle was just a bit too artificial. And I even like an artificial blueberry to a point. That one was a bit too sweet and a little bit too artificial. It was like past the Pop-Tart version into candy version, and it was a no for me, and it didn't necessarily say holidays either, so I passed on that one as well. But I did buy the 4 other ones, and I'm here to talk about it. Of the 4, the 2 I was most happy with are Snow Day and Smoked Vanilla, so I'm gonna talk about those in a second. Let's talk about Brown Sugar and Fig and Vanilla Snowflake. Okay, so Brown Sugar and Fig, you know, they didn't exactly, with any of these, they didn't exactly give us like a full, you know, like visual or marketing presentation. This is pretty phoned in for them, yeah. Just with that like square thing, you know, that they haven't really done a whole lot of work with, just the metal lid, etc. These are $25.95 though, which is $1 up from what used to be their kind of bargain basement price point of $24.95. When they give us a $24.95 candle, that usually meant, you know, we're not going to give you a wraparound, and frankly, this might just be a throwaway semi-annual sale candle. It's like that kind of price point. So they weren't, you know, charging us a whole lot for this. They are what they are, and the value added here is that they are vault candles that are coming back, and so that's the special moment of them. To be perfectly honest, I would have liked, I think since they were all vault candles, they could have just done like a really nice vault, like a label on it. You know how they do sometimes for like Candle Day or semi-annual, like they'll just have like a really nice vault label, you know, and they'll check boxes and whatever else. I actually think that that might have been better than the labels they chose here, but you know, it's not a big deal. They all say from the Bath & Body Works vault, and then it says what respective year, I don't know, they first appeared or last appeared. There's been some confusion about that, so I'm not gonna dwell on it. Brown Sugar and Fig, I kind of feel like we have seen this before, but I think it's because we've had some body care fig fragrances over the last couple years, and this doesn't smell a whole lot radically different from any of those. It's just kind of a nice, sweet body care with a really strong like fig note, you know? It's sweet, which goes to the brown sugar, I think. Maybe a little sweeter than I would like. I would like a basier aspect to this if it was gonna be a body care conceptual. With the brown sugar, I would have liked something a little deeper, maybe a little bit more musky. That's me personally. It stays very much in that like mid to high range, very linear, not a whole lot of layers to it, but it's not bad. It's really not bad. It's one of those candles that I almost would return just because I don't think it's gonna be that remarkable, but at the same time, it was $10. By the way, I didn't have any coupons, so, you know, they stopped giving me coupons 2 years ago. I'm kind of jealous of all of you that are like, so I used my 10 off 40, you know? It's like, wait, I don't think I've had one of those for like 3 years. Why do they not give me coupons? I don't get it. Anyway, it's fine, it was $10. Notes on it are fresh fig, coconut milk, and caramelized brown sugar. I'm not getting a strong coconut note here. I feel like there's been another fig conceptual over the last year or 2 years that again had coconut and fig in it that may have come out like in the fall season, and I can't remember what it was called. Some sort of green fig something or other. This is so embarrassing. I don't know how Kent and these other people even keep all this shit straight. I don't even remember candles that came out last fall. I can't, but you know what I'm talking about. That candle was okay, and it kind of smells very similar to this one. So I don't know, there may be nuances of difference between the two. It is what it is. I'll probably burn it at some point. Like maybe in February or March or something like that, kind of that. All right, Vanilla Snowflake. I was really disappointed by this one because the notes on this sound so fantastic. Frozen vanilla, iced fir needles, mint leaf, coconut flakes. So it's got fir and mint, okay, I get that. And then the vanilla, and then coconut. Like that just sounds incredible, right? Like I wanna smell all of those things in this candle. Like fir and mint and vanilla are like fairly like par for the course for this season, although even that smells delicious and cool, right? In both senses. But then to put the coconut in it too, I am loving I just love the concept of this. And then you smell it and you're like, what? I mean, when my sister and we both smell this and we're like, this just smells like vanilla buttercream frosting. Like it doesn't even smell like a conceptual of any kind. Like it is straight up vanilla buttercream. Like it's that level of sweetness and thickness. You know what I mean? And it says frozen vanilla. Like it doesn't even say like rich vanilla frosting or something like that. And this is very much gourmand. Like this is not a frozen vanilla. This is not a conceptual vanilla. There might be the faintest note here of something minty. Faintest. Like a real back note. Hopefully it comes out while burning. It's the only thing that could be making this like a little bit more interesting. You all know that I'm not a gourmand person anyway. Don't want a candle that smells like vanilla buttercream frosting, you know? Absolutely no fir. Absolutely no coconut. Like, fir and mint should be something that should be like very obvious in this candle, and it's not. Like, I just asked Kent and I was like, what is with this candle? Like, I don't understand why I'm not smelling fir and mint. And like him and like Josh and everybody's just like, yeah, that's the way it's always been. It's kind of weird. It's a vanilla candle, but it smells different. And I'm like, different how? Like, it smells like frosting? There's gotta be a million frosting candles from Bath & Body Works. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Somebody help me. I mean, I'll keep it, I'll burn it because like, I want to. And I want to believe that when I burn it, some of these other elements are gonna come out, but like, what? And what a waste of an amazing concept and amazing fragrance notes. I don't get it. I'm embarrassed, but I just don't. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. Why can't we have the candle that's promised on the bottom of the jar? I don't understand it. Okay, but at least we have Snow Day, and Snow Day does smell good. Snow Day smells good. Snow Day smells like half of what vanilla snowflake should be, i.e., it smells like it's got a good amount of like peppermint and white chocolate and fir. You know, so it's like halfway there. It's definitely more peppermint than mint, but you know, the notes on it are spruce branches, peppermint, and sweet vanilla, and that's what I'm smelling. It's great. It's just not. It's not like gonna change my life, I guess. You know what I mean? It's not gonna change my life. And I think even Kent was saying like, I feel like I remember this being better than what I'm smelling. So maybe I've just glorified it in my mind. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. All those notes are winners, you know? The white chocolate vanilla note with the peppermint, with even just those two, peppermint and like a white chocolate, that's very classic. And when it's executed well, like you can't, it's just fantastic. It's fantastic. And then when you add the spruce, the balsam into it, that's even gonna make it more fantastic. But that's all it is. And those are all very traditional smells. And yes, it's fantastic to have it all in one candle. And like, this should absolutely come out every year. So I don't understand why it hasn't. And I think that's a lot of the hype of this candle, is that people like Kent, I think, do believe like, come on, this is a fairly classic candle. It's fantastic. It's executed well. Why has it been like 12, 13, 14 years since we've seen this candle last? Right? And I mean, I think that that's probably contributed to like its over glorification, is because it's just a fantastic candle. And like Bath & Body Works doesn't have that many holiday candles that are so fantastic, you know, that would push this one out of the rotation. It's just no. They do have a lot of great fall candles, you know? I mean, they've got autumn, they've got leaves, they've got sweater weather. They do very, very well for the fall. And you can kind of understand why from one year to another, autumn might fall off the rotation or something like that. But they don't have that kind of, you know, fleet for their holiday season. So there's no reason why a candle like this should fall off the rotation for any year, let alone for 13 or 14 years at a time. Like, that's just insane. So that's what I can say about Snow Day. I'm super happy to have it. I hope it performs well. And yes, there's no reason why it shouldn't come out every single year. Bath & Body Works needs a candle like this to come out every single year for their holiday season. I love this one, and I've never smelled it before. So there have been a lot of reviewers who have been like, I love smoked vanilla, but I have like 20 of them in my collection, you know? And I get that. I don't have 20 in my collection, and I'm a virgin. I'm experiencing this for the first time, and I love it. And this is up in my wheelhouse. For those of you who are watching this video or my channel for the first time, I said a lot about not being a gourmand fan. This is the kind of girl that I am. I love the more masculine candles. I like the smoky ones, the woody ones, the musky ones. I love conceptuals of any kind when they're well executed. I even like perfume and cologne conceptuals well when they're executed well. I love my botanical conceptuals, my ocean and water conceptuals. These are all my wheelhouses for sure. This is fantastic. Smoked vanilla is creamy vanilla, smoked sandalwood, rich bourbon. I'm there for it. Oh, boozy. The boozy ones. Oh, so fantastic. What I love about this one is it's not just dominated by vanilla, you know? I'm not a vanilla girl. Like, you gotta give me more than vanilla. You just do. And this one is mostly all the other elements, but it's got that vanilla to kind of soften and moderate down the smoke and the booze notes that are very rich, very punchy, very bassy, and also have like a masculine austerity to them. This is not like your mainline kind of like boozy note that everyone kind of gets behind. Like, this is actually a fairly austere kind of bourbon smoke. Almost kind of your leather library kind of vibe. And so the vanilla and the sweetness is so welcome. Oh, it's fantastic. And it's a bit bassier. It's kind of in your mid to bassier range. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I really hope that it performs. Very, very happy with it. Okay, wrapping things up, I have 4 other candles that I knew about and had just not been in the store. So one of them is a Milk Bar candle here. This is Peppermint Bark Truffle. None of the Milk Bar ones were, again, up in my wheelhouse enough to buy them, but I do have a white elephant party coming up, and so I was trying to think with like a mainline person in mind, you know, who doesn't have my weird candle preferences, you know, that not everybody is gonna want to smoked vanilla, you know. It's, by the way, it's not a gag white elephant party. It's like a nice one where people just like buy nice things for people. So I was trying to think of like what would be a nice person, safe kind of candle. And I was wondering, it would either be like a Neapolitan or something like that. And my sister told me that probably this one would be the one. So I did try to buy one from the Milk Bar collection because I thought, oh, these will probably go well. And like the packaging is so nice with this like pearlized kind of shimmery, silvery pink. So beautiful with a nice matte lid. And Peppermint Bark Truffle is like one of those gourmand kind of holiday notes that I think most people would like, men and women alike. And it's a great candle. Again, very classic fragrance notes. Yes, Bath & Body Works has done a million like chocolate peppermint kind of candles. So I don't know that it's necessarily breaking the mold or doing anything innovative, but it's very well executed and it's not terribly sweet, you know? I mean, it's just a really, really good peppermint bark kind of note to it. And so I picked this one up. All of them smelled good though. Like all of the Milk Bar candles smelled good. They're all great gourmands. And I have to give Bath & Body Works a lot of credit for thoughtfully bringing out, of course, the first Milk Bar one was the birthday cake, but bringing all of these out later in the year, knowing full well they would be on the floor when they had Candle Day. Really fantastic, very smart, and I really want to give credit again where credit is due when this company makes really excellent decisions. That was definitely one of them. I am one of the few people who knows what Milk Bar is and is very familiar with it. This got Milk Bar, and poor Christina Tosi, like she got a lot of hate from a lot of candle reviewers. They're like, oh, who is this, you know? This no name, like we're just giving her PR for free. Like, sorry guys, you just have your heads in the sand. I really think you do. And like, I mean, it does seem like a lot. I'm surprised at how many people don't know Milk Bar or Christina Tosi from the Bath & Body Works demographic. On a certain level, it doesn't matter whether you know her or not. Obviously the collab probably lands better if you do, but frankly, we've seen a lot of collabs with Bath & Body Works over the last couple of years from very well-known TV shows, etc., that have not landed. They have just not. The Disney people haven't necessarily come in to buy Disney things. The Bridgerton people didn't come in hordes to buy Bridgerton gear, you know? So on a certain level, I don't know that it really matters that much with these collabs, how famous the collab is. That's just my opinion. And these were not upsell. The price point on these did not go up. So we didn't have to pay a licensing fee to Disney or Netflix on these. So that was really positive too. And that may have contributed to how much better it did than those other, you know, collabs did. Also, they were all like just really great gourmands. So that also helped as well. Yeah, just a really, really good collab. I mean, the minute they announced Milk Bar, I thought, oh, how fantastic. Christina Tosi. And then I was just surprised at how many people had no idea who she is. I mean, maybe she's less mainline than I thought. I mean, especially if you live in a rural area, maybe you wouldn't know. I mean, the Milk Bar, you know, they've got the stores in very, you know, big cities like LA and New York. So there is that. I've never actually been to one of them. I just know them by reputation. But I mean, like, I watch MasterChef. She's been on MasterChef for like the last decade on and off with the youth one and the regular MasterChef. So I know her from there at the very least. You know, she's been a judge for years at a time, you know. And she also like had a reality show at a certain point. I mean, I do watch TV like it's my job 24/7. So maybe I'm not like typical, you know, but I know her from that. And then she had a great ice cream line. I haven't seen the Milk Bar ice creams in the grocery stores lately, so I don't really know what happened. But like over the last 5 years or so, Milk Bar has had ice creams in the store, pints of ice creams with well, it used to be called crack pie. There was a huge controversy over that because she has this like crack pie version of flavor in her bakery and in the ice cream. And then like it was a controversy because like people were like, you're making fun of like substance abuse. So then she had to just like make it pie or something like that, you know? And it was like a crisis. She had to rebrand all of her ice creams and her bakery items because she couldn't call it crack pie anymore. And that was like 5 or 6 years ago. That made the headlines. And like I said, these ice creams have been in the stores. The cereal, the birthday cake one, the chocolate birthday cake one, the mint one, the peanut butter one. So if you're an ice cream aficionado, you would know her from that too. So I'm kind of surprised at how many people were acting like she was like not an entity. And I feel like maybe you just don't know pop culture as well. I don't know. Like, I don't want to disrespect you guys, but like, I thought it was a good collab. I did. I thought it made sense given her like unique gourmands, but also the fact that they're really comforting, the fact that she's so well known on Fox for MasterChef, you know, and then there's also like the more elevated like clientele in New York and Los Angeles, you know, etc. When it first came out for Bath and Body Works like birthday celebration, I thought, what a major coup to have gotten Milk Bar, because like Goose Creek does all of the more familiar, like lower end kind of bakery stuff, like with the Hostess and the Pop-Tarts and the Little Debbie and the, you know, all of that, like Pillsbury kind of situation. Like they do all of that really well, and that's a major coup for them to have gotten those collabs. But it's important that Bath & Body Works had like a matching collab, given their gourmand like presence. They needed a gourmand collab, but they couldn't do any of those. And I think it was really smart of them to go a little bit more elevated, given where their stores are and given their stature vis-a-vis Goose Creek. Like for them to have gotten Milk Bar, I just thought it was really, really smart. So then it was surprising to me that like nobody knew who she was, and they were like giving Bath & Body Works flack because of that. For those of you out there who, like me, know who she is and know this is a really smart collab, like this has been fantastic for them. And it's been one of the few collaborations that they've had over the last 2 years that has made sense and I think has actually sold. I have not been a fan of how many collabs they have done. And generally speaking, I think Bath & Body Works should do less of them. I really do. I think it really is much more successful for a company like Goose Creek than it is Bath & Body Works for a whole host of reasons. And I think that Bath & Body Works should stop doing it and just concentrate on giving us good candles the way they used to. Just give us good, thoughtful, new candles. Like not like shitty ass, like, you know, generic ones with an upcharge because it's Disney or Bridgerton. Like, that's actually not a great direction for most of us. And I think it's contributed to how bad they've been over the last 2 years. Yeah? It also just looks like a money grab, frankly, and that they've lost creativity and originality. So there's a whole host of reasons why I think the collaborations really need to become more limited, okay? But I think of all the collaborations they've done, Milk Bar makes the most sense, fits well within their demographic, their genre, and sold really, really well. So I have to give high marks for that. And I'm glad that I picked one up, even if I'm just gonna gift it. The other 3 candles that I have here, I know, don't groan, but I did get a Moonlight Path. This has been an online exclusive since it came out, I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago, something like that. And so I didn't get it because it was an online exclusive. But I'm one of those girls who has been buying Moonlight Path since like the 80s and 90s. Like this is my OG fragrance because when I was a girl, like this was the most like musky and like avant-garde kind of fragrance that a woman could own from Bath and Body Works. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, they didn't even really have like men's fragrances except for like mahogany teakwood and flannel and that kind of thing. So they just had very heavy traditional men's fragrances, and they didn't have that many fragrances that were kind of like more unisexual or just a little bit less like fruity and fabulous and sugary, you know? Like all my girlfriends were like sun-ripened raspberry and country apple, and then of course there was like the juniper breeze and the cucumber melon was like the closest they came to something that was like less sweet and conceptual. And then there was Moonlight Path. And every year my little baby brother, who's like 10 years younger than me, would go to Bath and Body Works and buy me something from Moonlight Path because like he knew that's what I liked. And he would go in there and he would always come back with stories and be like, how do you go in that store? It's like you can't breathe. All these things are coming at you, you know? Which is so true. And it was just so sweet. He would like go up to one of the employees and be like, there's like a Moon Road. I just want the Moon Road one, you know? And then they would have to try to find out that it was Moonlit Path, you know, whatever. So I'm a huge Moonlight Path, and actually Moonlight Path used to be one of their huge, like, marquee sellers. Like, it was actually more popular than Japanese Cherry Blossom. And for a long time, decades afterwards, like the core classics, were in the stores. They would have Moonlight Path and Japanese Cherry Blossom and Gingham. There were just a few that were like, they were year-round standbys. And I would say it's only been within the last like 7 years, 8 years, something like that. Moonlight Path has disappeared. It's just become not as popular. So now Japanese Cherry Blossom has just kind of become the new like Moonlight Path. And it's around all the time, but not Moonlight Path. So apparently people's tastes are changing, and I'm surprised at how polarizing this is. Yeah, even my sister, who like remembers this, was like, oh, and she was like, this just smells like something you spray in a bathroom to like cover up bathroom fragrances. And the thing about it is, like, it does have an extremely heavy musk note on the bottom, which is just kind of off-putting for people. And it is kind of one of that older genre of fragrance. So I get it. Like, I'm not gonna make a huge apology for this candle, except that it was always my fragrance, and like, as fragrances do, it brings me back to a certain space and a certain place. And so it'll just always be one of my favorite fragrances. So anyway, I went ahead and bought it. I don't know that I'm gonna like it in candle form, but I got it. And then last but not least, I might have this candle. I need to go back and look in my collection. I may have this one, and I don't know that I've actually burned it before, but this is Black Tie, which is almost too generic and cliched. It's a soft men's cologne fragrance for sure. Very much along the lines of the new road trip candle, holiday road trip candle or whatever. Kind of one of those soft colognes, not so heavy on the base, not so heavy with the bergamot, but still kind of a traditional men's cologne. This one has a lot of brightness to it and a lot of botanical freshness to it. The notes on it apparently are green sage, sandalwood, and tonka bean. And I think it's the sandalwood and tonka bean allegedly that's kind of giving it that bassier note, although it's not very woody. What you're really smelling is, it actually smells less like sage and more like their green moss note. The moss note that you have in like the more recent fall forest one candle that was really fantastic like a year or two ago. That really strong moss note is what's in this as well. And then it also has, if I'm not mistaken, a floral in there as well. And I think the floral is probably either an aquatic floral, like a lotus, because there is something vaguely aquatic about this, not only in the moss note, but also in the floral itself. Or it's a lily note. It's one of those white florals, and I don't know that it's just straight up jasmine. There's a lightness to it, a brightness, almost a freesia lotus-like quality to it. It's kind of unisexual, although it does lean a bit masculine with those like bassy musky notes to it, and enough bergamot or amber in it to kind of be just a touch body care-ish, just a touch cologne-ish. But like I said, a lot of really bright botanical notes that I'm here for the botanical. I'm here for the botanical and for the austerity of something that is, I think, a little herbal sage, a lot green moss, and a little bit of aquatic floral, and I'm here for it. That said, it seems very mismarketed as a candle called Black Tie. I don't understand, and I even asked Ken, I was like, has it always smelled this way? And maybe it always has. And the only reason that they're calling it Black Tie is because of the quote unquote soft masculine cologne element to it. But there's enough bright botanical in it that makes this really much more of like a conceptual that you might want to see in early spring with the like moss note in it. You could also burn this like in the fall season, maybe. Like a very damp kind of mossy, fall forest kind of vibe with the masculine. I could see that. But it always comes out like at New Year's, black tie, you know? Like it's some sort of, if you're gonna do a cologne at New Year's, like it shouldn't have these like fresh botanical elements to it. It just shouldn't. It's weird. And then on top of it, the marketing this year has this like New Year's spread, and it says, "You had me at Merlot," as in the wine. But of course, the fragrance has nothing to do with wine, nothing to do with Merlot. It's like basically an early spring floral with like masculine elements to it. It's just bizarre. It's bizarre. I don't get it. This is in a company where things are repackaged and renamed all the time. This fragrance needs a redo. It needs a repackage. It needs a new introduction as something else. And then last but not least, Cozy Winter Cottage. So this one is new for this year, and I really liked the way that this one smelled. I don't know if it performs well, but you know, for $10, I was like, you know, I like the way this one smells. This is winter spices, warm cedar, and amber musk. There for all of those. And what is not listed is a fruity note, if I'm not mistaken, that smells very wine-like, frankly. It does say winter spices, so I guess think mulling spices. But like I said, there's a bright berry note here that is kind of a half currant, half grape, maybe. But again, it's like a wine note, a wine cider kind of note. And it's really bright and beautiful, and the spices and the kind of musky notes underneath just give it like a really beautiful, richer, conceptual kind of feel. I like this candle. I really do. I mean, it's not like brilliant. It doesn't change my life. And I don't know how it's gonna perform, but I really like it. It's kind of like what I hope and expect from like your frosted cranberry wood kind of candles. But then whenever I smell those, I'm like, ugh, it's too sweet, it's too generic, whatever else. This is exactly what I'm hoping for with a cranberry woods kind of concept. I really like the way it smells. So let me know if you've had experiences with that. There were a lot of candles that I didn't see on the floor that we've seen lately in mid-December or for Candle Day that I kind of missed. Chief among them are Goldenberry Mistletoe. Goldenberry Mistletoe has come out the last 2 years, and it's been a surprise hit, I think, for many people, myself included. I like Goldenberry Mistletoe, and once again, in a season where Bath & Body Works doesn't have that many blockbuster hits, I don't see any reason why Goldenberry Mistletoe shouldn't come out every year. I think it's very good. If you're unfamiliar, it's kind of that sparkly, effervescent, berry, citrus, spruce kind of candle. It's really, really nice. It's very Bath & Body Worksified. It's not necessarily sophisticated, but it's great. It's really great. And for the last 2 years, it's come out in pretty ugly packaging. I call it the ugly sweater candle, and I would have loved to see it at Candle Day in an ugly sweater kind of packaging. I think that would have been fantastic. So Goldenberry Mistletoe, where are you? Secondly, there were a few other candles like Cozy Cashmere and even like vanilla, lavender vanilla, frankly, that for the last few years has come out in really sweet, like cozy winter packaging that I would have liked to have seen. I would pick up another lavender vanilla, you know, that's a very classic candle that, and this is the kind of year, this is the kind of point in the year where you want it, where you're thinking about what you're gonna burn in January, and you don't necessarily want to be burning another peppermint white chocolate candle. And lavender vanilla is just so great for that, or a cozy cashmere, or whatever else it is. So I would have liked a few more candles that anticipate January a bit more, and a few of those familiar ones that I frankly would have liked to have seen. I wouldn't have minded seeing cocoa roasted chestnuts. And I know that was maligned the year that it came out 2 years ago. But again, that is a fantastic candle that is very shea butter, kind of musky. A great candle for January and February. I'd like to see, we haven't seen it back since that year where we all assumed it was a gourmand and it in fact was not. Even if you don't bring it back with that name, repackage it as something else and bring it back, because again, that's a fantastic January, February candle that I'd like to be seeing on the floor right now. The galvanized lid candles that were the single notes, the vanilla, the rose, the cinnamon, the, you know, lemon, whatever, they looked cute, they looked great. But do we need them? No, we really didn't. What I would have liked to have seen in their stead is goldenberry mistletoe, cozy cashmere, vanilla, lavender, and cocoa roasted chestnuts, those kind of situations. We also didn't have any of those sparkling pear candles. And I feel like the last couple of years we've had too many of them, you know? There was like the winter pear sangria and, you know, whatever. There was an orange grove candle. Oh, what was the one? The orchard one. The orchard candle is so fantastic. We could have used that one too, that winter orchard candle. Oh, so great. We haven't had that for a year or so. Yeah, that would have been great too. I wouldn't have minded one of the winter pear ones in there as well, you know? Yes, they killed it a little bit the last few years with the pear sparkling candles, but I think we could have used at least one of them. I don't know that we had any champagne candles out for New Year's, and Lord knows we don't need another champagne toast, but maybe one of those sparkling pear ones would have been nice. So yeah, there were a few candles I would have liked to have seen on the floor, and certainly we could have exchanged some of those terrible blend candles or some of the galvanized lid ones for a few of those candles. But I want to reiterate what I said at the beginning, which is that I really think this was a fairly strong candle day for them. And if they had made some different choices with the blends, I think it would have been even stronger. I think I could have given it even higher marks. So definitely let me know what you thought about it. Generally speaking, I feel good about what it is that they did. No, they didn't knock it out of the park, but at the same time, it wasn't like really terrible either, where there was just nothing on the floor and we're like, why bother go into the store? You know what I mean? It was definitely not bad. And considering the trajectory of what they've offered us for the last year and a half, I think it was better than we all kind of were cringing for. So there's that. Yeah, let me know what it is that you think. I'm returning a lot of these, but I'm keeping a lot of them as well. So let me know what you think. And I'll watch for a big empties video here pretty soon. Oh, fingers crossed. Please let Bath & Body Works be better next year. Please let it be better like next year. Please let there be fewer collaborations, more thoughtful new candles just given to regular us as candle consumers, you know? Let it be a better year. That's all I gotta say. Thanks so much for joining me, my friends. Sorry about how long this is. I'll catch you guys in the next one.